because like maybe this is a squeeze situation and maybe I'll do it. But keep in mind, if there's a guy who's super nitty in terms of the raises, you may not want to be 3-betting him too much unless you got a super strong hand like queens, kings, aces, or ace king suited. So he calls and you flop top pair. It's check to you. So at this point, I think you're pretty good because what will happen is at this level, if someone did flop the nuts, if this guy had pocket aces or pocket jacks, he would have donked into you. So you go ahead and bet. And this guy check raises all in. Now he called, right? This guy raised, he called. You raised, he called. And then he check raises this flop. So he could have ace king. I think a lot of the times he shows up with a lot worse ace, like ace 10, ace 9, ace 4. But there is the situation that he might have a much better ace. So let's see, did he check raise ever? Not really. But I think given what's in the pot and your hand, random flush draw shows up too, I'm calling this. So you go ahead and call too. Good. And it shows ace 10. Okay, so it looks like our reads were good. And you take it down. So yeah, you just see really weird plays, I guess, at these levels. But it looks like you got a real strong hand reading ability, so that's really, really good. It's going to help you out later on. Okay, we got an under the gun limper, and then you raised to 25 cents. So that's unfortunately the wrong size here. What I'd like to see you do, this is an undergun min raise. Okay, so if you're going to 3-bet here, which is fine with ace jack in this situation against this kind of opponent. Again, we don't have many reads on him, but this should be at least, say, 40, 50, 55 to 60 cents, probably 60 cents. So watch that. It's just way too small a 3-bet size, and no one's folding to this if they already have 10 cents in, because there's going to be so much money into the pot. See? So make that 3-bet size bigger, and maybe do a little bit of reading of proper 3-bet sizes and what they should look like. So you flop top pair. Unfortunately, with this many limpers, you got to be really careful with set miners. And I don't know if a lot of people are set mining. They've figured out how to do that yet at 5-no limit. But basically, if you have the right odds, you got any pocket pair, you should be seeing a flop in order, to get that 1 in 10 chance to hit the. Well, I guess a little bit better. It's like 1 in 9 to hit the set, which is always a big hand, and these stakes typically get paid off. So he donks into you after you 3-bet. And so now it's like, okay, he's a short stack. This is going to stink. You got top pair, so I guess you're getting it in against this guy, but chances are you may not necessarily be good because he did min raise under the gun, so I'm thinking he's got something like kings or queens. And he might even have something like, it's unlikely he has jacks, but maybe 7s. So you go ahead and raise him. If he shoved here, I'd actually fold. And he did shove. So I'm thinking my reads, he didn't shove, he just min raised you again. Now I know he's putting you on. If you see a min raise under the gun from a guy like this, it's either the nuts or just nothing. And so since you 3-bet him, he didn't go away. It's just really hard because I keep going back to at these stakes, So because he's short, you can get it in. It's not bad. You do. He's gonna show you. I'm gonna tell you what he's gonna show you. Aces, kings, queens, or 7s. Let's see. 7s, yeah. So unfortunately, he was just set mining on you and hit. You hit top pair, top kicker in a 3-bet pot. A bit of a cooler because I think you played it fine. I was trying to bring up concepts, for later on, for you to pay attention to and to hopefully help out your reads from people that play weird hands in weird positions. Under the gun limper, you make a raise. 4 times is fine, but again, 4 plus 1 for every limper is good. And he limp calls, which is just so weak. So now you've got 2 overs, a backdoor straight draw, and a flush draw, the nut flush draw. And he bets into you, so you're raising this every time because your equity is huge against this guy. But you go ahead and call. You got to understand, you're way ahead here. Way ahead. So go ahead and make the raise because what you're doing is basically betting your share of what you're owed of the pot at this time. The jack comes, which is not a good card for you. He bets, and at this point I am calling. And fortunately you hit your nut flush. Unfortunately the board paired. And he goes ahead and bets 50 cents. I think it's pretty safe to go ahead and raise it up. And you go ahead and shove on him. It looks like a bit of a bluff. But I can't imagine he's calling you without like a queen high flush here. So bad players will go ahead and call with like their top pair, like their queens here. But as you move up in stakes, and let's say you're playing 100 no limit or 200 no limit like I play, you're never getting paid off in this situation, I don't think. So you'll just have to figure out, value betting on the river. But I imagine he's calling with such a worse hand at these stakes. And so you go ahead and take it down, and he shows you the straight. Interesting. So the fact that there was a flush and a paired board didn't scare the straight away, which is kind of crazy. So I'm guessing like just people are really not aware of what a board could mean playing at these stakes. So good job. And again, it looks like you've got a much better pulse than I do of value betting on the river at 5 no limit. So good job. I'm impressed so far. Let's try to get through a few more hands. Got a limper, a razor, and with ace jack you're folding every time. All right, kind of got lost there. So limp, raise, and here you are. So we do know this guy is a donk, but the thing is you've got ace jack, which is an okay hand, but from this position it's terrible. And the last thing you want to be doing is playing a hand like ace jack in a full ring game way out of position like this in first to act, because you're basically hoping to flop an ace or nothing. So you go ahead and call, and the limper calls, and you flop top pair. So fortunately you flop top pair, but you still don't know quite where you are, because this guy might have ace queen, ace king, aces, or some combination of something like 78 of diamonds, which you're behind. So you go ahead and donk out, and this actually goes back to my comment earlier in the video that you see a lot of players that'll like call out of position, hit top pair, and donk into you, and you see that a lot at these stakes. So it's not something you want to be doing. Maybe it'll work here, but it's not going to be a good strategy as you move up the ladder. So he goes ahead and min races you here. At this point, you've got to decide whether you want to get it in against this guy or you want to fold. I've said you should not have been playing from the beginning. As played, I think you have to get it in against this guy. And if you're behind, you're behind, but I have a feeling you're behind. You go ahead and watch the bet size there. Since he's got only 150 behind, you should just go ahead and make this raise to 240 and get him all in. So he calls you, he shows the set of sixes, which is lucky for him. Unfortunately, you hit trip aces, so this was kind of predestined since he had a boat, but a few finer points there for you to take a look at. All right, ace queen. So that was fine, and you flop top pair, so we're c-betting this, and against more opponents here, I'm actually c-betting a bit more, and that's to make sure that if one of these guys has a set, we know right away. But I would have bet to 50 cents, even 60. So we get one caller. That's fine because he's a 78-22. Another 7 hits, which is actually a bad card, and the min bet. Well, I guess it's 10 cents, not exactly min bet. I don't quite get. Maybe you're testing the waters, and he goes ahead and bets a ton over you. So I think here this should have been a 75 cents to $1 bet, and this guy sensed weakness and jumped all over you. If you'd bet, the turn bet kind of quote unquote correctly there, and you saw this and you're thinking, wow, I just got belugaed, which if you don't know, look up the beluga theorem. This is a fold. So you go ahead and call, and then you lead out, and I'm guessing you think you're really, really good here, which I don't have supreme confidence, but against this guy, you probably should, because he's going to show up with a lot worse queens here a lot. And he shows up with just air. So I have a feeling this guy had been doing this, and you had a good solid read on this guy, and you weren't going away at all. So nice read. So this was Sean for